Everyone knows now when it comes to fat loss, you need to create a calorie deficit. Yet I'm still here making a video covering why people are struggling. And I can do this for a lot of different topics and a lot of different reasons with why fat loss isn't working for you. But you've clicked on this particular video for a reason. The title or the thumbnail's caught your eye and you're wondering, who's this dickhead and what's he going to talk about? My name's Tom. I've been doing this for a while. I've been coaching now for around 5 years. And I've seen this pattern a fair few times when it comes to people getting in shape and losing fat. And some people are even more experienced and still doing this. So I thought, you know what? This video needs to be made. Whether it reaches one person or 1,000 people or more, it needs to be viewed by anyone that's struggling with this. And it's the repeated pattern of restarting the loop. And what do I mean by that? The repeated pattern of dieting, locked in, that word, or that phrase, being locked in, prepping all your meals, starting off really strong, and then having that one day where things go to shit. The plan isn't planning anymore, and then you can't work around it. Because the following day, one bad day must equal 2, 3, multiple days at a time. And then we're back again on Monday, we restart. And we eventually move, nowhere. And the point that I'm trying to make is we need to break this loop. And this video is here to actually educate you on why we keep going through this loop and how we can try to break it. It's interesting because most people know that now to lose fat, you need a calorie deficit. They understand to create the deficit, we need to eat more protein, we need to cut the carbohydrates down, not out, but down. Yeah, if you're still cutting your carbohydrates out completely, then you definitely need to subscribe to the channel. And we need to do more steps, do some cardio, and have a plan that realistically we can start with, that we can be consistent with. The issue is that most people tend to have, even with the perfect plan or a plan that they say that they can stick to, is an imperfect day leads to a complete fall off and fuck up. And that's what we need to stop. Most people know how to diet. They know how to follow some sort of plan. The issue is they can't work around imperfection. When life is never going to be perfect, it's never going to be streamlined, and you ain't always going to have a perfect week. And to be honest, most weeks are never going to be perfect. You're going to have shit thrown at you left, right, and center, and that's just a part of life now. Unless you're in this industry that I'm in, this isn't your life. So we need to find a way that stops you from fucking this up and allows you to lose the weight. Explain the reset loop and why people do it so often. It's that takeaway that you have on a Friday that then turns into a full weekend of eating shit. It's that one meal out that you have. It's a birthday meal. You go out, you feel guilty because you've ate a little bit too much, and then the following days turns into complete shit. The tracking's out the window or the meal plan's out the window. You're not doing cardio anymore. You get to the gym, but the sessions are half-assed, and you're definitely not tracking your steps. And we have to reset and lock back in. And I fucking hate the term lock in, because for some, I've done it where I've said I'm locking in, I'm getting on it. And the issue with that terminology is you're either locked in, something stays you off track, you have a bad day, your motivation really dips because of external circumstances, and then you lock the fuck out. So although locking in is fine, and saying I'm getting locked in, I'm locking in is fine, but you've got to understand that locking in doesn't mean you need to be absolutely perfect and expect that every single day and every single week is going to be completely spot on. I wish life worked like that, and I wish being able to get into the shape that you wanted to get into worked like that, but it just doesn't. And these imperfections are really what you've got to work around and understand. It is just a part of getting in shape. The people that have been doing this for longer just understand how to work around these imperfections and just understand that shit happens. They're more prepared, they're more organized, they've got the meals prepped, they take them to work with them, they take them out and about, they make sure that if steps need doing by the end of the day, they get the fucking arse out and do the steps. They'll wake up earlier to go to the gym if they need to, if they know that they start work early, and by the time that they finish work, they're going to be too fucked to train. They're just more organized, they've been doing it longer. Whilst if you're watching this video, you might just not be there yet. And trust me, I wasn't there for a long time, until I prepped in 2023. I never really found myself getting in shape. I'd done it probably once or twice. I got in semi-decent shape, but there were a lot of fuck-ups. But 2023 taught me one thing. It taught me how to get in a pretty decent nick. And then that was in about 13 weeks. And then 2024, I prepped again, and that was 21 weeks of dieting, not missing a beat, doing cardio when I needed to, following the plan to the T, following a meal plan, and not missing a meal, not fucking up once. And that was just down to choice. Now, people that prep for bodybuilding shows fuck up, and I'm talking they fuck up, they binge and have probably secret eating disorders, right? And that's not what we're pushing, but people have that within an industry where they're chasing this, and they might have been doing it for a long time because they're pushing to levels of extremities that you don't even need to go to, and they fuck up. The difference is they're probably just a little bit better at getting back on it a lot of the time. They just know how to, well, one, probably keep it quiet, and two, get themselves straight back to it most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. That's what you need to learn. It's understanding that one bad day doesn't need to turn into 2, 3, 4 or a complete fall off until you eventually get back on it. The issue is, it's the story that you tell yourself. It's what you're feeding yourself after going out for a meal. It's seeing that scale weight go up a little bit from some additional sodium and water and that water retention that you inevitably get from a bigger meal and maybe a dessert. And then feeling that you're going back to square one. So maybe that kilo that you'd lost, you feel like that's a kilo worth of fat gained overnight, when that's pretty much impossible. But that then still leads you to multiple days of falling off track and eating shit and treating it as just a free week then to do whatever you want to restart on Monday. It's exactly like popping one tyre and then popping the fucking rest because, well, one's popped, I might as well fuck the rest off. Or eating one slice of cake and then being like, well, I've had one, so I might as well eat the rest of it when it's 3,000 calories. It's similar principles. It's a story that you feed yourself that you have to stop feeding to yourself. Starting over feels productive. Motivation's high. You're ready to go again. It's time to just give it my all. And then 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever it is, start off really aggressive. And then something happens and you repeat that cycle. You might lose a couple of kilos and then you regain it by falling off again. What we need to try and introduce is a better thought process behind those days when you do have something that's inevitably different to what the plan says, or those days where something happens within your life that is out of your control and you need to work around it. Or even if you can't work around it, understand what you do the following day. So what do we do the following day? You don't fucking try and restart again on Monday. If it's Friday, you go again on Saturday. If it's Saturday, you go again on Sunday. You get the point. You don't then try and start doing more the next day. You don't increase your steps, increase your cardio, or try to burn off the calories that you've ate, yeah? Because it becomes a vicious cycle. You don't change the plan, start cutting out carbs and eat significantly less, because eventually it does bite you in the arse, hunger increases, and then inevitably you can't control yourself again. You don't change anything. You just get back to what you were doing that maybe was seeing that scale weight come down. Maybe you was feeling better from. You go back to that the following day. And then if you choose not to, because you feel guilty, it's a choice. You're choosing not to. You're choosing to not get back to plan, which then may be an issue with the plan itself. How hard was the plan? How aggressive was it? And do you actually enjoy what you're doing? And to an extent, you're not always going to enjoy a calorie deficit. You're not going to enjoy being hungry. You still need to have some enjoyment to the meals that you're eating. You still need to have an amount of cardio that doesn't fucking rinse you. You need to enjoy the training sessions that you're doing or the type of training that you're doing. You have to enjoy these things to an extent. It's not always enjoyable in a deficit. We have to find a means to make it slightly enjoyable. But let's say the plan's great. You could stick to it for multiple weeks at a time. You just had one day that took you off track and then it kind of forced you to fall off. All right. Well, the issue is then, it's not the plan, it's not the coach, it's not the method, it's not the macros, it's your knowledge around continuing after maybe a choice that didn't align with what you were trying to achieve. You may be addicted to that feeling of restarting because it feels safe. It's like, well, I can always start again. If you've done this for a while and you're sick to death of being stuck where you are, why the fuck are you accepting that? If you keep doing the exact same thing and repeating these behaviors, every single diet's going to feel this way. And inevitably, it leaves you down a sort of route where you feel like this diet thing doesn't work for me. I can't lose the weight. I've got slow metabolism. I feel like I'm just a bit broken, to be honest, when it's just certain behaviors that might be. And here's the thing. What I tell clients, you do not need to be perfect. You just need to find a fucking way to be consistent. So I can give you the plan and you stick to the plan for the most part. And if we're not sticking to it, we need to then find a way to do that or adjust a plan to suit. You could have a perfect plan, the most optimal plan based off your life as well, but it still requires you to do the work. So let's say things were going well. Here's what you need to do. You don't panic. You don't spiral out of control. You don't sack it all off. You just get back to what was working the following day. If you sit and wallow and you sit and moan about the fact that your scale weight's gone up by the choices that you made, if you made better choices when you was out and you ate and you only had a main meal, for example, you stuck to diet drinks and you still see that scale weight go up, you made good choices. That scale weight is inevitably going to increase because of multiple reasons, right? That's out of your control. What you did well was you controlled that meal when you went out. You can't control the scale weight the next day. But let's say, for example, it's the total opposite. You went out, you had a blowout, you drank like a twat, you ate like a twat, and your scale weight shot up by a kilo to 1.5 kilos or 2. And you feel like you're back at square one and a bit of a failure. Firstly, we don't sit and wallow and feel sorry for ourselves because you chose to do that. You picked the fork up, you drank the drinks and you put that shit in your gob. Your fault, your choice. We just need to accept it and crack on the following day. Now, the results that you want come from reducing the amount of time that you're off plan, sticking to a certain set of calories consistently, understanding when changes need to be made when things aren't moving, not making emotional decisions because your scale weight's gone up and you feel like you need to completely cut out carbs. It's from doing cardio consistently. It's from doing a regular amount of steps. It's from training and training hard and consistently. Compared to the times when you're off plan, which is those takeaways, those social events, those events through the year that we have, birthdays or Christmases and seasonal bits, what are inevitable, that are going to come around every single year. Those are going to happen every single year. How we work around that is finding consistency for a majority of the year. Yes, you're going to have periods where you might push a little bit harder. You might have periods where you pull back a little bit. And I think most people are probably in a state of wanting to push a little bit harder, but not knowing how to, without just completely cutting carbs out or doing loads of cardio and doing loads of steps and then falling off because maybe they are going too aggressive. And then in that sense, then your plan's wrong. You're not doing things right. And then if that's you, you're doing things wrong, or you find yourself restarting every Monday, then click on that little link in the description below. All you need to do is put your name and your email in and you'll get a free playbook, which will help you from restarting every single Monday and maybe start to successfully diet and diet properly and lose those next 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 kilos by yourself. And if you do feel like you're someone that wants a bit more one-to-one help and a bit more support because you can't find the right plan to keep you consistent, then I'll leave another link below which covers my one-to-one coaching. It tells you the prices, it tells you what's included, and at the bottom, if you want to, before paying, you can even book in a call with me. So book in a call, let's have a chat, and then if you feel like coaching is the right fit for you, we can get started, but there's no pressure to sign up. If you're new around here, you like the video, then please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.